I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Courtside Soundoff podcast. Once again, I'm Josh Evanoff. Welcome by the one and only man of the hour, too sweet to be sour, future Jiu-Jitsu world champion, Angel Ortega. I got a lot of stuff to talk about this week, boys. A bunch of news. No UFC to recap, but we got a card coming up this Saturday night. Before we break into all the action, as always, we're brought to you by two fantastic sponsors of the show, Rogue Energy and ELYXR. Rogue Energy, keep me fueled up no matter where I'm at, whether I'm at the gym, working at home, or I'm watching the Chiefs move to their fourth bowl in the last 5 years, baby. Just the GOAT, Patrick Mahomes, doing the damn thing. They kept me excited during that boring game. Not really a boring game, but you get my point. It's a defensive type game. And you know what? You know what chilled me out after the victory, though? After the dub? ELYXR Delta 8s. And you can get them as well for with code Soundoff for 10% off at checkout. Code Soundoff for both Rogue Energy and ELYXR.com. Code Soundoff. Like I said, nothing to really recap. One championship had a card, which we'll talk about a little bit later in the news section. But nothing really happened. Bit of a light weekend. Royal Rumble, if you're a wrestling fan, Chiefs in Baltimore. Obviously, that's a bunch of football going on, but in terms of MMA, nothing to recap. However, we do have a card going down this Saturday night at the UFC Apex in Las Vegas, Nevada. In the words of Renato Moicano, who gives a fuck? It's an Apex card. But we're going to preview it. Cause jokes aside, there are some actually really, fun and interesting matchups on this one. We got ranked middleweights in the main event, Roman Didalize, who, has come really, I don't want to say come out of nowhere, but had a really nice winning streak, won 4 in a row before ultimately losing to Martin Vettori last March in London. And during that winning streak, he picked up some stoppage wins over the likes of Phil Hawes and Jack Hermanson and so on and so forth. He will now be returning to the cage to take on the sniper out of France, Nasruddin Imavov. Let's call him Roman. Fuck, dude. Nasruddin's had an interesting UFC career, to kind of put it mildly. He came in with, I don't want to say a lot of hype, but he picked up some nice knockout wins. He beat Jordan Williams, had a loss to Phil Hawes, sandwiched in a couple of other big wins, murdered Edmund Shabazian, but at this point, who hasn't? But in his last two, he faced, funny enough, the Man Dance podcast. He lost to Sean Strickland, and he had a no contest with Chris Curtis last June in Canada. Both of these guys are looking to get back in the win column. Both of them are trying to keep their place in the middleweight rankings. 5 rounds for these two. What do you make of this matchup?
I'm excited, man. Look, ever since Izzy was dethroned, whether you feel they have done their best, I think, to try to get this division going. Because this isn't the only 185 fight going down on this card. I know it's not ranked, but we also have Kerzia versus Makhmed Muradov going down. Both of those guys, Muradov at one point, not that far from breaking out, got stopped by Gerald Meerschaert, kind of delayed the career there for a little bit, came back 2 years against Cal Barrelli, ended up getting a loss there. But just the fact that, they're trying to get those guys going there. And I think even next week, Josh, we got Joe Piver coming up as well. Mm-hmm. Against Hermanson. That's another 185er affair going down there. And it's ranked guys. And also on that card, Brad Tavares, Gregory Rodriguez, Armin Prigozhin, Rodolfo Vieira. We're getting this division going, which is a healthy thing. I think that's a very important thing because for a while this division was very just stuck. You had your Marvin Vettori's, your Jerry Caney, Robert Whitaker's, and your Jack Hermanson's right there near the upper end of it, top 5, top 6, kind of holding it down. And then you had some guys below that hanging around that were, they're all right, but they weren't necessarily breaking through yet either. Your Brendan Allens of the world. I know I threw Jack Hermanson there as well, but your Jack Hermansons and so on and so forth. But this attitude of we got to get it going. I am down for it, because this division needed it. On top of that, for a while there, I was saying, look, if there's one division where a guy can just come in and make statements and blow it up, it could be division like 185. And it's crazy because initially that guy ended up being Alex Mejia, then Sean Strickland, and now Dricus. I mean, it's kind of wild. I think I saw the stat, Josh. It was like 185 has had 4 different champs in 10 months.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was a stat below it of like how many champs there's been and at 45, and I think it's 4 or 3. I think it was Volk, Aldo, Max, and Connor.
Yep, correct.
In 14 years or something like that. Like, just, wild numbers, At the same time, I think it's great for the sport, I don't know, it's weird, right? I feel like people either, like, you can appreciate and love a dominant champion, but at the same time, some people can kind of get tired and bored of it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think it just depends. But, when you're witnessing greatness, it's like, at least to me, I'm like, I gotta appreciate it,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'm somewhere on the middle on that. Like, I don't know, man. I take it on a case-by-case basis. Like, there's definitely champions that I like that have been, like, dominant over the years. Obviously, there's so many legends to count, but at the same time, there's also been some champions where it's like, they're dominant. It's like, I don't know if it's a case where the division sucks or maybe, like, it's just not as entertaining. Middleweight.
They're just that good.
Yeah. Like, Izzy had some stinkers, but Izzy also had some incredible performances, too, as champ, too. So it's like somewhere in the middle for me personally. But I will say that I have actually really enjoyed the kind of middleweight title, kind of jumping around, bouncing around. Like, it's a division that throughout its history it's had some dominant champions, Izzy and Anderson. But really outside of that, it's kind of been a title that's always bounced around if you look historically. And even in those couple of years that we didn't have, Izzy as champ, we had, the gap between Anderson and Izzy. We had Weidman, Rockhold, Bisping, Whitaker, GSP, like we all in the span of like 2 to 3 years, dude. Like, so, that's just kind of how this division is, man. And I will say the middleweight division right now is, it's great, dude. It's stacked. And that's the main reason why it's moving around so much. DDP, obviously the new champ, man. But even then, like, I don't think he'll hold the title long either. Like, I could easily see him facing somebody like Jared Cannonier and getting upset. You know what I mean? Like, it's just such a good division. Even then you have guys like obviously we'll get to, Evanoff and, Didalize because they're the ones, main eventing this weekend. But like, you have guys like Hamzat Chimaev who are coming up, you know what I mean? Who just moved up from welterweight to middleweight and he's looking fucking great and might get a title shot next. You know what I mean? Like, you got guys like Fluffy Hernandez who are on the rise. Like, Chris Curtis just picked up a win. He's a guy that has a great story. Like, middleweight is popping right now. And speaking of Chris Curtis, he just called for an Apex main event. I hope they give him one. Because he deserves it. And in regards to this fight this weekend, it should be pretty exciting. Both of these guys need wins. You know what I mean? Not really in the span of like, in the strain of like they'll get cut or anything like that. But obviously Roman, he looked like he was on the rise, and then he got stopped by Vettori, and obviously Imavov two fights without a win. In terms of the fight itself, man, this 5-round middleweight main event, who do you got?
I was questioning myself this morning, Josh. But I keep saying it, man. I need to go with my gut and not change my choices. I need to stick through with it. And for a while now, ever since this fight got announced, I've been thinking Roman Dolidze, man. I think he's gonna get it done. For Nazarene, he's I feel like we constantly hear like, dude, this kid is it. He's up next. And look, I know he's only had 2 losses, and he's fallen short. And it was Sean Strickland, one that we can really put some weight behind. But it was, if I remember right, there was some weight stuff going up there. They had to do it last minute because they had to change the main event or co-main. I can't remember what it was. So there's some factors to it. I just don't think Nazarene is there yet for some reason. He's 27. He's young. He's in those prime years. I think right now Roman, who's older, and their records are really not that far apart. I mean, actually Roman has less fights than Nazarene. I think Roman Dolidze is going to get it done, dude. I just have a feeling. There's something about these fucking Georgians, dude, that I just have a lot of faith in.
Yeah, I'm on the same page as you. I'm taking Roman to get the job done here. I mean, I like Nasruddin a lot. I think he's a guy that has a lot of potential, but he's still only 28 years old. It looks like maybe he got pushed a bit much too soon. You know what I mean? It's funny because he beat the fuck out of Edmund Shabazian, and he's a guy who's pushed too much too soon. And that was kind of the win that made everybody think like, oh, this Nasruddin kid, he's like,
and you're not wrong. Fighting.
Yeah.
When you look at it, I mean, he went from fighting Jordan Williams, then Phil Hawes, which, that was...
Also Phil Hawes, too.
Yeah, and it's kind of weird, right, in hindsight, right, especially with how things have gone for Phil Hawes since then, but it's, he went from, it was Ian Heinisch, Evan Savage, Joaquin Buckley, and then Sean Strickland, you know what I mean? Especially, like I say, and now with Sean, after the fact, like Sean being Chip, it's kind of like, dang. But he did his best in there, like you said, he did the man dance.
Yeah, man, and that's kind of the thing, man. Like, I really do think Nasruddin may be that guy, but I don't know. Like, it looks like he got pushed too much too soon. And even that Sean Strickland fight, Strickland took that fight on 4 days notice, and that's why he was a light heavyweight and still beat him relatively cleanly. Yeah, man. I mean, and now granted, Sean Strickland does that a lot. I mean, he takes a lot of short notice fights, so he's kind of always ready. But at the same time, man, kind of a bad look, and he's kind of faltered. The two times he's kind of stepped up to the top level, he's kind of faltered. So I'm going to take Roman, and that's not to say Roman's a world beater and has proved that he's a top 10 guy really that much either. But I mean, he tore through Jack Hermanson, just beat the shit out of him, and he did knock out Phil Hawes impressively. He did knock out Kyle Dawkins impressively.
Even the Vittori fight though, Josh, I remember at the time that had a little. There's some people thought that Roman should have got the nod there, if I remember.
It was a close fight. And there's no shame losing to Vittori. I mean, I understand he's coming off a loss, and he's kind of suffered a lot of losses at the top level. At the same time, Vittori's still a top 5 guy in his own right. So there's no shame in losing to him either.
And young too, which is so annoying, right? The fact that he's gonna be around for a while. Annoying for the division, I mean.
Yeah, 100%. So I think I'm going to take Roman to get the win here. I would not be surprised in the slightest if Nasruddin picked up the win, but I'm going to go ahead and roll with Roman. In the co-main event, admittedly, I'm far more excited for the co-main event than I am the main event. Renato Moicano. Moicano wants money. A guy that's been around in the UFC for quite a while now. Started off in featherweight. We kind of looked like, okay, this guy's a future title challenger. He's not really gotten all the way there yet, and in his lightweight move, he kind of had some rough outings, but he's won 3 of his last 4. The only loss was a one to Rafael dos Anjos. No shame in losing that one. Last submitted Brad Riddell in November, taking on Drew Dober, another veteran, 35 years young, coming off a knockout win over Ricky Glenn, which was just, it's not too often that the UFC does a squash match, like straight up WWE pro wrestling style. But everybody knew what the case was going into that one. So Drew Dober, man, won 4 of his last 5. Very similar kind of story to Renato Moicano in terms of recent success. What do you make of this fight? It's going to be a banger. Betting odds, very similar to the main event, straight down the middle, super close.
Dude, look, all I know is this fight I know it's going to deliver. There's no way it doesn't. Both these guys are dangerous. Both these guys are game. Both have they're capable of finishing the fight at any moment. Once again, dude, all week I've been Moicano. I'm sticking Moicano. Moicano's gonna get that money. Moicano's gonna get that bonus. But Drew Dober's a fucking dangerous guy, though. I wouldn't be surprised if Drew Dober comes out here successful. He's like you mentioned, he's been kind of coming on as of lately. Did have a pebble in the road there, but doesn't mean that he can't continue and bounce back. For Moicano, though, I feel like this is a big moment for him. This is his, he's kind of been talking it up, getting us hyped up. It's like, are you gonna take that step forward and kind of, because with this Drew Dober win, Josh, he's not that far removed from ranked opponents.
Yeah. No, he's not at all. I mean, this would be a really big stepping stone kind of moment for him, Look, I'm gonna go and take Renato Moicano too. Now, I will admit I'm biased in the fact that I really like Moicano. And that's kind of driving my motivation to pick him. But yeah, man, I really like the guy. I think it's going to be a very fun fight. I think if it hits the mat, I definitely think Renato Moicano is going to get the dub. And I think that's probably the way it's going to go. I mean, Drew Dober, he's not some slouch on the ground before submission losses. You've kind of seen the way other guys have been able to just kind of go through him on the mat if they can get it down there. I think Renato Moicano will have to take some bombs on the feet for sure. But I think he's going to go ahead and get the win. And in regards to the rest of this card, Angel, I mean, it's there's some fucking great matchups, man. Which ones are you most excited for in the undercard of UFC Vegas 85?
Dude, I'm excited for Randy Brown, Muslim Salikov. Salikov just has such a fun style. I know the guy's 39, but his Sandshoe, style is just... And the guy... I brought this up a while back, dude. I didn't know this guy was, a legend in China. until he fought the Leech. Like this guy has like this reputation because of this discipline he learned and mastered. Like I said, his fucking kicks, dude. Like they're some of the best in the UFC.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong. This fight was supposed to go down, I believe, last month.
On the pay-per-view.
Excuse me. Yeah, 2 months ago, actually, now at this point. 296 in December. Yeah, I'm happy they kept this matchup together. Because on the feed, this one's going to be a banger, man. I mean, Randy Brown, the record doesn't stand out too crazy. He's been around for a long time. But he's improved leaps and bounds since, I'd say, 2020, 2021. He's in his early 30s. He seems to be hitting his prime. The only loss was one to Jack Della Maddalena, and, again, no shame in that. And like you mentioned, Chinese legend, Muslim Salikov. Super entertaining. You can definitely tell he's getting older, though, man. 39 years old, going to be 40 in June. You can definitely tell he's kind of slowed down a bit, but still, like, entertaining as fuck, dude. So, very excited for that fight. Very excited for that fight. You know, in terms of the rest of the card, man, excited to see the comeback of Mahmoud Muradov, 33 years old. You know, he's a guy I was super high on, and then he lost to Gerald Meerschaert.
Yeah.
That's all kind of downhill after that.
I remember that fight.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go ahead.
I remember that fight. I watched it at a friend's house. Like, we were all kind of hanging out, and no one gave a fuck about the fights, but I was watching them. And everybody, because this was the Edson Barboza Giga fight. I think I picked Edson to beat Giga at the time. And, dude, he lost to Jared Meerschaert, and I was in shock. Mm-hmm. I was actually in disbelief, dude, because I was like, dude, Mahmoud Muradov's my next guy at 185. He's coming up. Did not end up being the case.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude. I really thought he was, man, I thought he was going to be for real. I mean, he still might be. He's 30, 33, I believe. He's still good, but taking off an undefeated kid here. And then by kid, I mean, he's also in his early 30s, but, Alex Khabab.
And he's a dog.
Yeah, who submitted, I can't think of his name right now, but I believe he submitted, what is his name, dude? Denis Tetulin in last March. So, interested to see him. In terms of other cards, in terms of other fights on the card, excited to see the comeback of Gilbert Urbina. Very excited to see that. Molly McCann making the drop down from flyweight to strawweight for the first time in her career. That one's going to be interesting, taking on Diana Belbita, who she already defeated in 2019 by decision. So a rematch there. Should be interesting. Tembo Geronimo, I don't know fuck up his name, but Tembo Geronimo, I don't know. Taking on Pete Rodriguez. Banger. That one's going to be a banger, however long it lasts. I'm a big fan of Pete Rodriguez. Is he actually that good? No. Does he come to swing and bang every time he's out there? 100%. So excited to see Pete Rodriguez back, man. Should be a fun one. Julia Stolarenko, the armbar legend, going to be fighting Luana Carolina. On the undercard here as well. Any other fights you want to go and highlight from UFC Vegas 85?
Dude, at 125, Charles Johnson's taking out Azam Muksum. Dude, another Kazakhstanian guy, flyweight. I remember, like, every now and then, Josh, like, I'm always looking, like, who's the next guy? Who's going to come through? And he was a guy that I kind of caught eye of, just looking at randomly through flyweight rankings globally. He had a nice little fight against Tyson Nam. Wasn't easy, Tyson Nam is always game, has that capability of knocking guys out, especially at 125, which is always, we love that shit. Yeah. And he definitely had to work for that one a little bit, but like I said, it was, it's his first UFC fight, young, and like I said, taking on a very experienced and a veteran in Tyson Nam. I have high hopes for the 28-year-old man, and they just signed another Kazakhstanian fighter, dude, who's a bantamweight, like this sport is growing so much, man, and especially in that region of the world. I don't know, like the quality of fighter that's coming out of there is great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, I fully agree with you. Should be a banger, and since you brought it up, flyweight, man, I feel like I bring this up like a fair bit now, but flyweight just has so many good guys, so many good young guys, dude. Like I don't know what's going on, but like there's a big youth movement going on in flyweight. You know what I mean? And now part of that's probably the fact that like back in, I think it was 2020 now, 4 years ago now at this point, They cut all those flyweights because they were going to get rid of the division, and then they didn't get rid of the division. So they had to, it could be that, but I don't know, man. Definitely a lot of fun guys go on a flyweight. But yeah, man, this card is it anything too crazy? No. Should be a lot of fun though, man. There's definitely some very good matchups for people to look forward to on Saturday night. But yeah, man, I mean, that's all we got in terms of previews. I mean, it's an alright card. It's not going to blow anybody's hair back, but it should be a fun one. I'm honestly, I will say that I think it's not as good as next week's Vegas card, but that's just my opinion. Just my opinion. I'm actually relatively excited for that card going down on the 10th. I think there's some really good matchups there. But regardless, man, yeah, nothing to recap, nothing else to really preview either. However, we do have a boatload of news because, dude, in the week since we've recorded, just so much news has come out from basically everywhere in the combat sports world. So we're going to go ahead and hit it off at the top with a fight announcement. Jake Paul, fresh off a knockout win over Andre August in December, will be returning to the ring in Puerto Rico to take on Ryan the Rhino Bourland. This is another guy that's more of a traditional boxer. I believe 17-2 is the record, 6 knockouts. Mostly fought at light heavyweights. Has one fight in the last 6 years. Kind of what you would expect for a Jake Paul opponent. Angel, what are your thoughts on this matchup? It's kind of what we expected.
Yeah, 100%, man. I mean, look, he's trying to improve the level opponent, but without taking a lot of risks. People are going to shit on him being like, it's cherry pick, all this and that. But I don't think, like, a lot of these people who are, like, commenting on here understand how this boxing world works, dude. Like, this is part of the process. You know, this is the kind of fights he's going to take. And over time, you're going to see, like, slightly levels increase in quality. And I think this is, once again, a slightly increase in quality. Look, it's a cherry pick. Yes, the guy hasn't fought in, 2-4 years, something like that. He's blown up for the weight class a little bit. But he is a Golden Glove champ win locally, wherever he won him at.
South Dakota.
He did amass a decent sized record. He is capable of knocking him out. But like I said, there's some caveats to that. You know, he's been inactive, and like I said, he's a little bigger puts on, he's carrying a little extra pounds for the weight class he's going at. So there's to it. But like I said, people are gonna disrespect Jake for it, but I gotta say it, Jake's earning a little bit of more my respect each time because I see he's going the traditional boxing route and at the same time improving the competition somewhat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, look, dude, I'm somewhere in the middle on this, right? Like this, I'll be honest, I watched same thing as what happened with Andre August. I watched some film on this dude, and he's not good. He's really not good. At the same time, though, this is what you would expect for, how old is Jake now? 26, 27? Like, this is what you would expect for a guy who's taking on, like, his 10th pro fight with very limited amateur experience. Taking on a guy that's not good. He's not good. I'm not trying to be mean to him, and I'm very happy that he got the opportunity. And same thing for Andre August. Like, these guys are journeyman fighters who are getting paydays. More power to him. Super happy for him. And, Ryan Bourland, I believe he's already retired once due to injuries back in, 2020, which is why he ended up taking off the multiple years and so on and so forth. He's had one fight since 2018, which was a 2022 knockout win over San Antonio Martin, who, funnily enough, Andre August also beat back in 2019. Yeah, fun facts. Look, Ryan Bourland, he's not a very good boxer. I mean, I'm trying to be I guess I don't know how I feel about this. You know what I mean?
Like I told you though, Josh, I still think none of these fights are guaranteed, dude. There's some journeymen out there who've come out and surprised us throughout history. It doesn't happen too often, but there's that guy who shows up on that night and somehow gets it done and has this big moment, I don't necessarily think this guy's gonna be it. But anything's possible, man. And there might be that one guy that Jake picks out who decides to be a little too tough for their own good and kind of shows out a little bit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. You're not wrong. But I will say this. I think Andre August had a much better chance of being that guy than Ryan Bourland does. I'm not trying to be mean to him, man, but he's been very inactive. He's a light heavyweight. who is taking this fight up a weight class. He's gonna look like he looks like a bag of milk. I mean, like
Relatable, man.
No, I'm not trying to shame him for his body. I feel the same exact way. But I mean, if you look up his career,
Sorry, Josh, are you body shaming? I'm gonna fucking cancel you.
My bad, dude. I mean, if you look up his career, man, I mean, he got slept by Israel Duffus, who himself is a guy that's used as a can for a lot of other high profile boxers. He got knocked up with Chef Clark not too long ago. He's not good. At the same time, this is what you should be doing if you're Jake Paul. I have no issue with this fight. I don't think it's going to be a competitive one. I think Andre August is a way better opponent than Ryan Bourland at the same time. But also, this is what you should be doing. And this is what a lot of people said they wanted from Jake Paul too. Like, fight a boxer. Like, this is what boxing looks like, dude. Like, you get these guys who are hobbyists taking on boxing now. I mean, like, hobbyists, and maybe not Ryan Bourland. I mean, he's had like 19 fights. But you get my point here. Like, guys who have very limited experience, at the very least at the top level, and aren't very good, beating other guys who aren't very good. And that's kind of how it goes. That's what like 90% of boxing is. Like, obviously, guys like Canelo Alvarez are the 1%. Like, there's a whole other laundry list of guys who just don't make it and who are just kind of journeyman guys. And that's who Jake Paul should be fighting. And Ryan Bourland fits that like mold perfectly. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on it. It's going to be 8 rounds at cruiserweight, I believe cruiserweight. I'd have to double check that. Jake's last fight, but I believe it's at heavyweights. So I don't know. Oh yeah, double check. Just cruiserweight. 8 rounds. Going to take place on the undercard of Amanda Serrano's next title defense. So kind of cool that he's letting Serrano have her moment in her hometown. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, man, that's all my thoughts on the fight. I don't have anything too deep on it. But yeah, man. Gonna go ahead and keep it on going, man. We talked about this briefly last week. John Anik, who said that he was thinking about stepping away from the UFC whenever his contract expires, and I believe like late 2025, early 2026. He said that he's thinking about it largely because of the UFC kind of fan base and specifically Sean Strickland fans. Well, he's issued an apology for that. He's come out and said that he's not planning on leaving, and that his words are kind of taken out of context on and so forth. Just to kind of quickly wrap up this whole situation, what do you make about John Anik apologizing for his comments?
Just a little disappointing double back, man. I think what he said came from it was justified. His feelings were justified.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel the same way, dude. I really don't think he had to apologize. And it's one of those things that makes you wonder if the UFC made him apologize. Because they're not above that, like Dana.
You're right, Josh. I think the UFC might have walked in and held him at gunpoint.
No, I mean, at gunpoint. I don't know about that, but Dana was ready to oil him up, bro. He was going to turn the tables.
Jesus Christ.
But, jokes aside, yeah, I think that I don't think he needed to apologize. I wonder if the UFC made him, because for all their talk, and I'm not going to get, Josh is going to go on another fucking UFC rant, but for all their talk, they really are the kind of, about free speech and all that. They don't really believe in any of that shit. They want to promote their political ideology. You know what I mean? Because in the past, whenever guys have said stuff they don't like, they will come down very hard on them, including cutting them or whatever it may be, fining them. So I could have seen the UFC, putting a call in because some soft fans got their feelings hurt. But also Sean Strickland even came out and ripped into John Anik. So, I mean, it is what it is, man. I don't think he had to apologize, but I get why he did. It didn't help that you had Sean Strickland come out and was like, oh, I love these savages and yada, 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 so, it is what it is. I don't have any too deep thoughts on it. I'm very disappointed that he apologized though, man. I really think he didn't say anything wrong. It wasn't necessary. I mean, he's not wrong. The MMA fan base and Angel, we've been around for a minute, man. It's changed a lot. The sport has changed a lot just in the span of the last 3 years. Fuck 5, 10. You know what I mean? So it's changed a lot, and I really don't think John Anik had to issue any sort of apology. I thought that was very unnecessary. But it is what it is. It was very much, we had to go ahead and bring it back up. A lot of people were talking about it because really there was nothing else going on last week. But, yeah, man, a bit of a shame that he came out and apologized, but I get it. Anyways, man, I think we should go ahead and keep it rolling. So we got some other stuff, man. Soon, Angel, soon, we will find out where Kevin Lee fits into the UFC. Because Kevin Lee, the Motown phenom, he is back. Just less than a year after retiring, getting brutalized by Renat Evanoff last July, he will now be returning. He took to X. He took to X, dumbest fucking social media platform name ever. Took to X and said that he is gonna go ahead and come back, man. What do you make about the Motown phenom, former title challenger, Kevin Lee, returning to the cage?
I mean, he's still young. I think that's a big thing. And he hasn't taken, like, an extreme amount of damage, or I'm worried about the return. At the same time, though, we know that he's dealt with this, like, several injuries, and, you know, we talked about in the past where there was a change in him, and there was a change overall in his fight career after he lost his coach that he was with originally. And, you know, that all those kind of factors kind of playing into his career, right? It's kind of crazy how, you know, all that stuff just together just changed history, you know, changed his career trajectory as a whole, and kind of the place he's at now. But like I said, I feel like he's young enough. Maybe he could get stuff together. Maybe he could put a run. I don't know, because at one point in time, Kevin Lee could have been maybe UFC champ. Oh.
I mean, as much as people like to, I was about to say shit on him. People shit on everybody in the MMA world. But
yeah, come on, dude.
yeah. But as much as people do like to say, you know, certain things, he really is that fucking good. Like, at a certain point, he was championship caliber. Like, he fought for the interim title against Tony Ferguson. And if we're being honest, that was an undisputed title fight. I mean, everybody knew Conor wasn't coming back. That was late. I believe that was October of 2017. So yeah, I mean, he was not coming back. That was a real title fight, and he nearly beat him. And not really in the type of way that, like, you know, it was a close decision. Like, he did get subbed, I believe, in the fourth round, but like the first round of that fight was Kevin Lee ragdolling Tony Ferguson, beating the shit out of him. And it makes you wonder if he didn't have, you know, staph infection and get gassed out as soon as the second round started. Like, even for Kevin Lee standards, it was really bad, of gassing out. But, yeah, man, I mean, it really does make you wonder, man. A prime Kevin Lee could have been UFC champion, and he got close. But now, he's only 31, but he might as well be 41 or 51. Like, I'll tell you this much, as a guy I'm not a pro athlete. I'm 22 years old, though. And, I personally, like, my back feels like I'm 42, man. It's not about the age, it's about the miles, bro. So, you know, I like fucking my knee, I'm like Kamaru Usman. I walk up the stairs, my knees just start clicking and start fucking with me. You know what I mean?
You walk up the stairs backwards?
You know, I'm getting there, Angel. I'm gonna be for real with you, dog. I was walking up the stairs to my apartment yesterday, and it was like, fuck, dude, maybe I should start doing what Kamaru does, dude, because I got terrible arthritis in my knees. And jokes aside, I'm sure Kevin Lee has the same fucking thing. So, because he's tore his shit multiple times, like his ACL and MCL, I believe, and he tore it again against Renat. So, he fought with it torn, I believe. He said that he tore it as soon as he stepped in the cage, which I told you off air. I think he probably came into the fight with it injured. But yeah, I mean, I'm cautious about a Kevin Lee return. I'm not, for all that I just said, I'm not against it. Like, if he fights guys like maybe Tony Ferguson, and Jesus Christ, Tony should retire, but he hasn't been released, so they're probably not going to do it. If he fights guys like Tony Ferguson, yeah, like the rematch, right? I could see him fighting guys like Tony, Jim Miller, you know, like veterans of the game. Because even though Kevin Lee's not there in age, he's been around the UFC since he's been like 20. So, you know, he's a seasoned veteran at this point in time. Personally, I would go ahead and I'd book him against one of those guys, man. I think that he's dealt with a lot of injuries, a lot of recent losses, and I think that's what I personally do. I'm not opposed to a comeback, but facing top 15 guys, that's over. Like, I think that's because it wasn't that he lost or not, you know, that's not the issue. It's that he lost in like 30, like he got blown out of there in the same way that I would. You know what I mean? Like, Renat just walked for him, boom, dropped his ass, subbed him in 20 seconds.
Yours might have been a little quicker.
No, mine would have been quicker, but I mean, Kevin Lee got dusted inside of 30, so it's like, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it's really rough. But like I said, I'm not opposed to Kevin. Who do you think is a perfect fight for Kevin Lee at this point in his career?
At 155, Alexander Hernandez.
Ooh, that's actually a really good fight.
I know, Dana, book me. Get me as a new UFC matchmaker. Fuck that other guy.
They should have got you instead of that other fucking guy.
Right?
Yeah.
That was a good one, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if he's going to fight at 155 or 170. He hasn't said, so.
He said he's going to get in shape, and I think he might even said lose weight. I don't know. So I'm assuming 155 more than 170. Me
too, Kevin. Me too. So, yeah, maybe 155 then. But I knew that, like, he had Renat was 170, I think. And then, Diego Sanchez was 165 in Eagle FC whenever they had that division and that company existed for all of 3 events. Which, you know, I got to shout out to Eagle FC. They put me on they used to put my tweets on the screen. UFC won't do it. They've never done it.
Wait,
and,
did they actually do that? Do you have a screenshot of that somewhere?
I think I have it somewhere on my phone. Yeah. I think I have it somewhere on my phone. They put me on the broadcast a fair bit.
They're still doing, events just in Russia and Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan, just not in the US. Correct.
Which is like, you know, I get it. And I don't even think Khabib owns it anymore, or at the very least he doesn't operate it. Like he, doesn't.
According to Tapology, he does. Granted, this is Tapology.
Yeah. Well, I'm assuming he still owns it, but I know that he's not super involved because he heard about how he's going to take a huge step back from like training and everything involved with MMA. So I don't know, but yeah, man. I mean, I actually really liked Eagle FC for the brief time it was around. So, but anyways, I think we should go ahead and keep it rolling, man. We should keep it rolling because speaking of promotions that are, you know, they exist. One championship. I don't want to say anything good or bad for legal reasons. One championship. They had an event in Japan, which, I mean, I don't know how I feel about it. Like there were some interesting fights. I mean, Sexyama got destroyed by Nikki Holskin in a mixed rules fight in the first round. I believe it was like first round like kickboxing or second round grappling, third round MMA. You know what I mean? It was some weird shit like that. Fourth round Muay Thai or something. Dude couldn't even make it out of the first minute with Nikki Holskin, dude. It was like,
yeah,
it was rough.
Sexyama got fucked up.
Well, I mean, it doesn't help that Sexyama's fucking Bernard Hopkins territory of old now. So I mean, he's like,
he doesn't look like it though.
No, he doesn't. He does not. But he is around that age. He's like 49 years old.
But respectfully, Sexyama's the same age as my mother. Not an exaggeration. That's the truth.
Yeah. So I'm not surprised with that. But, you know, that wasn't even the craziest moment of the card. The craziest moment was that John Lineker, former UFC bantamweight and obviously former one championship, I believe champion John Lineker, stepping in on, what was it? Like, they picked him out of the crowd with like 30 minutes notice.
Yeah.
Probably had some beers, man. Ends up stepping in to face Shinya Aoki after Sage Northcutt withdrew to having no cornerman.
There were some issues.
Yeah.
I think they needed a work visa or something. But yeah, they fucking, dude, won. They offered to have Cade Rotolo corner Shinya, or I don't know if it was Cade who offered.
Yeah.
Sage did not refused or denied the offer, which I get and I don't get at the same time, right? And it makes sense because, Cade's not his coach, and at the same time, Cade's not prepping for Shinya. And then we found out Cade Rotolo was also offered to have his fight Shinya in MMA, and Cade was going to make his MMA debut and then also grapple that same night. I'm not gonna lie though, they kind of dropped the ball there. I wanted to go that direction, but I think the whole reason is they didn't want to essentially screw over Cade's opponent in his grappling match. Which makes sense. I think that's respectable, right? But fuck, man, you can't deny it. That would have been pretty badass if Cade went out there against Shinya Aoki and had his MMA debut. and maybe potentially won. What else happened? What was the other option they had? I can't even think, but I mean, I think that was it. And then they got Lineker, who he did weigh in as a backup.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, he picked him out literally out of the crowd. Like the guy's watching the fights. He was just there chilling.
Yeah. Yeah, he was just there chilling. But hey, man, John Lineker, hey, he is our DTF fighter of the week.
Oh, dude.
I mean, are you?
That's up there, dude, for DTF. I mean, I don't know if anybody's been able to take that title for a while. That might be the most DTF I've seen someone in. That might be the DTF fighter, dude, of all time right now.
I really think that whenever we get like a bigger audience, or maybe the people will want it sooner than that. You know what I mean? But like, I think whenever we make merch, we got to have a DTF shirt. You know what I mean?
Dude, I think guys want DTF merch now, dude. I think.
Down to fight. Yeah.
I mean, shit. I want DTF merch, Josh.
100%, dude. You make a good point. But yeah, man. I mean, it was a absolutely just what a scene. And I don't even know if we said it, by the way. Shinya went in there and just beat the shit out of him. I mean, it wasn't even close. I mean, it was basically what you would expect for a guy that weighs 30 pounds less, and the highest he's fought is 135, stepping up on an hour's notice to fight a lightweight great. Basically looked exactly what you would expect. Yeah, man. And I mean, still, you gotta give John Lineker props to their DTF Fighter of the Week. Sage Northcutt, his one championship run has been just fucking bizarre. Just one after the other. Like, honestly. Like, just nonstop, dude. Because you had, obviously, he came in, for a quick recap for those of you who might have missed it, got signed in 2019, got flattened, absolutely murdered by Cosmo Alexandra. Took off 4 years, came back, heel hooked a guy, and now stepped in for this fight. And then obviously pulled out like on fight day because he had no cornerman. Just a very bizarre run for a guy who at one point we thought was going to be a future, star, honestly. So, yeah, man, Sage Northcutt, man, he's had a weird ass career, and it's not really getting much better. But yeah, man, shout out both Shinya for taking the fight and John Lineker for also stepping up. And also, gonna mention it real quickly, Shinya Aoki tore into Shatri in his post-fight interview in Japanese, and the translator didn't translate it, and it was hilarious. But yeah, man, any closing thoughts on that or any other fights from one I believe 165?
I wonder how many fights Sage has on his contract, and if he would ever come back to the UFC.
Well, that was what Dana said, that like he was interested in bringing him back whenever he left, like because they even offered him like a main event and everything, like.
Oh wow.
Like that, if I remember correctly, whenever he left in 2019, they offered him a main event. They offered him this Singapore main event against Damian Maia that Ben Askren later took. That was going to be his first main event.
Wow, that's a hard fight too, because I think he was coming off he was on a 3-fight win streak on that tail end of his UFC run. I don't know. I'd love to see him come back. He's 27. Like this guy has not barely aged. Like there's still time.
Exactly. I can't find the details of his contracts, so that's unfortunate. But what?
Yeah, I
can't.
4 fights. I'm assuming, and he's only had 2.
Yeah, to me, 4 fight contracts are pretty much
4 or 5.
I'd say so. Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, like, dude, I don't know. It's just heartbreaking. I'd love to see a return.
Yeah, same. Because I still like Sage a lot, man. I mean, he's so young, and here's the thing: is like whenever he came back and he had that fight last year, he's in a good
gym.
He's really good.
He's at Teen Alpha Male. This guy isn't like at some smaller gym or just with his guys. Like Faber was in Japan. He was holding mitts and everything for him, and he was grappling, I think too.
Yep.
Like this guy is surrounded by like a bunch of solid guys in that gym, and if there's ever a return man, I think the UFC, I think, especially Sage, like he could definitely find a lot of success and become a star for them and make I think quite a bit of money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I mean, he's really like, he's that fucking good, man. Like he's really good, but I don't know. We'll see where he does moving forward, man, because he really does still have potential. He's still in his 20s. And, If he comes back to UFC, that'd be interesting. But and even then, for one, he could be a future star. It's just like getting him active, keeping him rolling, so on and so forth. But we'll see, man. We will see what's next for him, as well as Shinya. Because like he said in the green room, we want to see Shinya get to 50. You really want to see him get to 50. I'm not sure how much longer he has in this game with that raspy-ass voice of his, but I want to see him get to there, you know. But anyways, man, just go ahead and keep it rolling. This was a fight announcement. This is the first Bellator fight announcement. This one's going to be really quick. First Bellator fight announcement we've gotten since the PFL. We kind of thought, like, Don Davis said they were going to split the companies, keep them as separate entities, but we haven't gotten any Bellator fight announcements. We haven't really gotten any fucking Bellator news since the deal happened well over 3 months ago. Well, earlier this week, it was confirmed that Bellator 302 will be going down from Belfast, Ireland. Corey Anderson and Carl Moore to fight for the vacant Bellator light heavyweight title. Vadim Nemkov has been stripped of the title. I don't know if he's either stripped or vacated officially. Doesn't really matter. It's the same fucking thing because he's moving up to heavyweight. What do you make of this fight to go down as the main event of this card going down in March?
Fire. I mean, big moment for Corey, right? His opportunity to get the Bellator title. And, yeah, no, I mean, he has to seize the moment, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And for Corey, man, this is a big opportunity because if people remember, he came up short twice against Nemkov. Granted, one was a no contest. Yeah, I mean, we really thought that he was going to be a guy who could go to Bellator and just instantly go ahead and have some big success. Wasn't exactly like that. Yeah, go ahead.
I was saying it seemed like that.
Yeah, and he did have a lot of success. But at the same time, he came up short in the title fights. And Carl Moore, no disrespect to him, he's had some good wins, man. Same time, this is a great matchup for Corey Anderson. And for him, this could be his moment, man. After all those years working, all the years people making fun of him, Beaston 25-8, you know what I mean? He'll get the opportunity to finally become world champion in March. And we'll see, man. And in this fight, to me, at first, I was like, kind of a weird title fight until you remember, oh shit, Corey's already beaten Phil Davis, Yoel Romero. Like, he's beaten a lot of other guys that are in the Bellator light heavyweight division. So this fight kind of makes more sense when you look at it from that angle. And Carl Moore has won 4 in a row inside the Bellator cage. So,
dude, Yags might get that rematch. Yags on the 3-win streak.
Oh, man, I would love that fight. We're huge Yags fans here. You know, Bellator. They said that they're only going to run events outside of America. Fuck it. Give Yags a title fight in his home country. Do it. No balls. You won't. You know what I mean?
Where's Jax
I'd
from
love that.
anyways? I'm trying to, I'm actually curious now.
Dude, that's a good question.
That's Turkmenistan. That's the flag.
Perfect. Happy you said it instead of me.
Right. Fighting out of Ukraine, though.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, they cannot run that event.
No, sadly.
Well, they were gonna. You know what's crazy is they were gonna run an event, I believe, in Ukraine because they're gonna have Amosov. I think Scott Coker talked about that, like before the war. They wanted to defend the title, and it did not happen.
I mean, Josh Fedor was supposed to have his retirement in the Red Square, but things changed.
Yeah, they
Russia did some very not nice things that led to that not happening.
I know. Crazy, dude. Crazy. But anyways, man, I'm happy to see Bellator back. The more MMA fights, the better, man. So, love to see it. I know a lot of people have made fun of Bellator. A lot of people talk about how, a lot of people were like, oh, I'm happy that it's gone, yada, yada, yada. Well,
man,
they're back.
Fuck those people, dude.
I know. Well, MMA fans, they're just toxic as hell, man. They don't really think about like the big scene. You know what I mean? If Bellator is gone completely, that's really bad news for all fighters. So I'm happy that they're keeping them around, even if it is like PFL and Viacom running, because I think Viacom still owns like 30% of the company. So, but anyways, let's go ahead and keep it rolling, man. Because this is an interesting story. I'm not sure how closely you followed this situation. I followed it very closely, writing about it. What the fuck is going on with Ryan Garcia? Ryan Garcia was supposed to fight Devin Haney. They were in talks. Oscar De La Hoya met with Eddie Hearn about it. Apparently they were eyeing an April fight. All of a sudden, Ryan Garcia was training with Floyd Mayweather, and he U-turned on that fight, said, you know what, I'm fighting Rolly Romero next. Raleigh told him to fuck off and sign a fight with Isaac Cruz instead. And now Ryan Garcia, we're back to square one. Apparently he's going to fight Devin Haney on April 20th in Las Vegas. That's not finalized, but both guys have said they want it, and it seems like, I don't know what's going on with Ryan. I've seen him in a lot of interviews. He kind of seems all over the place, man. What do you make of this fight? I'm not sure if you've seen any of his ongoing situation, you know?
I saw his most recent interview. I don't remember what the podcast was, but he was talking about the Tank fight. I mean, look, the thing is, just Ryan is, and we mentioned this at the beginning, dude. Ryan is still so young, like 25, dude. Like, this guy is still like ever learning, ever changing, talking about mistakes, talking about improving. Like, that's probably most of what you're, as you know, as someone who is in their early 20s still. I mean, that is life right now, fucking up, learning, you know, evolving constantly. I think, you know, that, you know, and I think that's kind of the spot he's in too. I mean, he's been in the spotlight since he was 17, 16 years old, with all this attention and, you know, this money that's coming in and around these big profile people. And like I said, he's had a lot of stuff going on personally out of the sport. You know, I know he's separated from his lady who he had his child with and stuff like that. And, you know, he's from what it seems like, he seems very spiritual at times, and he talks about stuff like that as well. You know, like I said, he's young and learning. This is what we see, you know. That's something about fighting, man, that's different from traditional, like, you know, ball and stick sports, or whatever to call them, right? I heard, who was it? Someone talking about, I think it might have been Rampage. It might have been on the Jackson podcast. It was like, you know, when you're coming up, and you know, in fighting, and you know, think about the people who fight. You're not necessarily guys who maybe always have the most education or have maybe the best upbringings and, you know, stuff like that. And not to say that means they're bad people or anything like that, but it's just kind of to give you an idea where they're originating from. Where, like, opposed to a guy who's in a soccer academy, a guy who played football or basketball. You know, like, those guys have been getting praised and brought up, and they're in that world for quite some time, and a lot of times those guys kind of know they're going to make it at some point. Where in combat, you don't know that. You know, you're kind of you're taking the risk, and you hope that you make it, and you're part of that 1%, and on top of that, you have the skills. And when it comes to fighting, dude, a lot of times we see these guys kind of grow up in front of us. You know, I mean, it can happen in football and basketball as well, but most definitely in combat, man. I mean, think about the personalities in combat and the stories about those guys and their upbringings.
Yeah, and let me be clear here. I know that Ryan is a very spiritual guy, and I really don't want to shit on him, because I actually am a big Ryan Garcia fan. That kid has gotten a lot of undeserved. I say kid, he's like 5 years older than me, but at this point, but like you get my point.
He's 2 years.
Oh, okay. Well, now I feel unaccomplished. You should have just let me say 5. It's just I didn't know it's that close. Jokes aside, I mean, this dude's gotten a lot of undeserved hate over the years. Like, people shit on him for not fighting people, but like, is it really, for a long time, was it really that different from guys like Gervonta and fucking Devin Haney? Like, none of those guys were fighting anybody for years because they were young guys gaining experience. And he's had some banger fights, and like, even of the young guys, I think he's probably the most entertaining, and maybe you can definitely argue Tank too, bring him up, but like, I don't know, man. I thought he'd gotten a lot of undeserved hate for a long time. That being said, and he gained a lot of support whenever, you know, Oscar De La Hoya and Bernard Hopkins, and they abandoned him. They did. After his loss to Tank, they didn't even show up to the post-fight press conference. They saw him lose and dipped. Like, to do that to your young star, bro, that's rough, man. So yeah, I mean, look, I'm admittedly, I like Ryan a lot, but here's the thing, man. The last month has been a really rough one for him. I hope he's doing good, because obviously he had his kid born and then immediately got a divorce from his wife. He said he was going to fight Devin Haney, then immediately, you know, he said he was, never mind, I'm going to fight Raleigh, and all of a sudden he dipped for Floyd Mayweather to start training him and working with him. You know what I mean? And now he's back on Devin Haney, and he even said, fuck, I'll fight anyway, you know, like, he's kind of all over the place, man, and I hope he's doing good, because he's gone through a lot of shit, a lot of stressors, and I don't think this is a good fight for him either. Like, if I'm Ryan Garcia, like, I take a tune-up before fighting Devin Haney, man, because I understand they had a lot of close competitive fights in the amateurs, but based on their most recent performances, I don't think Ryan I mean, he's good enough to hold the chance against anybody on any given night. He's that good, but at the same time, I wouldn't give him more than a 20% chance against Devin Haney that fought Regis Prograis. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, it was also just
granted though, there's a lot of talk about Regis, right? Like, did Regis get fraud checked? You know, like, I'm not saying that's necessarily true, but it's just
Well, and also, I mean, Regis, I believe, I didn't think I stood a chance against Devin Haney. That's just a terrible matchup for him, and nearly got beat. But I thought he lost to Daniel.
I thought Regis would do better though. You know, like, I didn't think Regis wouldn't look like the way Regis looked that night. I mean, that was insane. I mean, I'm not gonna say it was a Bud Crawford, you know, Earl Spence-esque performance, but to a certain extent, it wasn't like fully that far from it either. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I will say that I wasn't expecting him to get beat that bad, but I didn't think that fight was going to be close either. I mean, I watched his last fight with Danielito Zarrillo, and I thought he lost that one. And I think Zarrillo took that fight on like a week notice. He's supposed to face Leon Piero, I believe. And, yeah, and he took that fight on like a week notice and nearly beat him. And Zarrillo, doesn't even have a fucking Wikipedia page, just to give you an idea of how untested that guy is.
Josh is a Wikipedia page.
It's the best way to determine it. It's the best. Not for MMA, because for MMA there's shitty rules. Like, you have to have 3 fights in the UFC to get a Wikipedia page. Like, there's some weird rule, like 3 fights in Bellator or PFL or one of the major orgs. Mm-hmm. For boxing, there is no rule like that. You just have to be somebody of note. And he's not a very noteworthy guy. So that just kind of shows you, right?
No, I just think it's funny though, because it's one that.
Well, to be fair, the rule's always proven correct, Angel.
To an extent, yeah.
Well, for the most part. Jokes aside, man. Yeah, I like Regis, but I was not very surprised. In terms of Devin Haney versus Ryan, man, I mean, I don't think that would go his way either. And also, he's training with Floyd too, and he's like, is he still with like Derek James? I haven't seen him training with, like, who knows? It's a really, I like the guy a lot, so I really hope he doesn't take this fight at this time. You know what I mean? Fight, just have a fun fight with fucking, Manny Pacquiao or something. You know what I mean? Fuck it. You know, and Manny said he's back. There was talk of that fight in 2021, I believe, so why not? You know what I mean?
Dude, he's gonna fight Floyd Mayweather, dude. What do you mean?
Yeah, right? Fuck it. He'll fight, no, fuck it. Have him fight Dean the Great. Fuck it.
Well, they're having their tournament right now in Misfits, dude. Do you know that?
I did hear about that. I heard something about it, yeah.
They're doing, what was it in boxing, what they call it? They're,
the Super 8?
Yeah, except it's gonna be, it might be, I mean, you could argue it's be the loser 8 for Misfits, but.
That was not all right. Yeah. You're not wrong. You're not wrong, dude.
I mean, I just be honest. Look, I love boxing, but I mean, I'm not gonna fully disrespect it either.
I get it, dude. I get it. Anyways, yeah. I mean, I like Ryan a lot, but this is rough, man. Rough. But anyways, man. Only a couple more things to run through. One is a fight announcement as well. This one is official, I believe. They showed themselves signing the contract online.
Finally.
Shannon the Cannon Briggs, back for the first time since 2016, will be facing former UFC champion Rampage Jackson in a boxing match June 1st in Qatar. These two have been going back and forth for years. Shannon the Cannon has just been harassing him nonstop. What do you make of this fight? Let's go, champ.
I can't believe it, Josh. It's finally happening. Let's go, champ. Let's go, champ. Let's go.
The fight likely going to be the retirement fight of Shannon the Cannon, one of the most entertaining men in boxing history. I feel like I always think of that clip of him fucking going out in the middle of the ocean to harass Vladimir Klitschko.
All of them, Josh. Not just that one. All of them.
All of them, you're right. But that's probably my favorite one of all of them. Early thoughts on the matchup. Who do you got?
I mean, you got a favorite Cannon, right? Like, it's gonna be boxing, right?
It's gonna be boxing. It is gonna be boxing, yeah. Don't know how many rounds.
Rampage does have hands, but this is boxing, so
yeah.
I'd always favor the boxer, but you never know. You know, hey, Anderson Silva did it. You know that?
That's true. Anderson beat a washed Julio Cesar Chavez. That
was a historic moment, dude. That moment's still unappreciated. That's up there with Francis and Tyson Fury not being appreciated enough, just so you know.
Yeah, and you know, well, the part that pisses me off is people were like, oh, you know, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., he's washed, so it shouldn't count. It's like, dude, Anderson Silva is like 50 years old. Like, I don't give a damn how washed you are. Anderson Silva is old as shit, broke his leg, left the UFC on like a 5-fight losing streak, and then went to Mexico and won on the cards. Just to show you how dominant it was.
He beat this man in his own country, bro.
Dude, and that's the crazy. Dude, one of the judges gave the fight to Chavez too. Like, he didn't get the fucking memo. You know what I mean? Like, Anderson had to be flawless to win that. Anderson had to be flawless to win that fight, and he was. So, there you go, bro. Like, he is that guy. So, I mean, yeah, I'm excited to see. I'm excited. I'm genuinely excited for Rampage versus Shannon, bro. I'm honestly, these guys have teased it forever. They have a really funny chemistry. The build-up will be hilarious. And, you know, Shannon even, Rampage posted a video of himself signing the contract, and Shannon instantly, he had his own video making, like, voicing over Rampage. He's like, look at how fucking scared he is. Let's go, champ. He knows he's gonna have to answer in June. Just like fucking, just talking over him. Yeah, man, excited for it. I wonder if they're gonna have other fights like this on the undercard. I don't know who's promoting it either, you know?
By the way, have you heard about, fucking Rampage talking about his, unlimited strength? When he gets angry?
No, I have not. No.
Yeah, he gets, unlimited strength when he gets angry, dude. I found this out recently, dude.
Well.
Yeah, he gets inhuman strength. He fucking talks about this.
So I guess we gotta have, Shannon really piss him off.
I mean, that won't be hard, dude. I mean, Cannon might just show up to the restaurant he's eating at. I eat what you eat, champ. I eat what you eat, champ. I eat what you eat. Let's go, champ. Let's go, champ.
You know what I always think about? The most underrated part of that is hilarious, that nobody talks about, is that he faced Vitaly Klitschko like 2 years before that and literally almost died because of how badly he got beat. Like, Shannon did the same thing with Vitaly Klitschko. Shannon Briggs pissed off Vitaly Klitschko in the build-up. And Vitaly, he wouldn't finish him. But across 12 rounds, he beat him within an inch of his life. Like, I think Shannon Briggs literally couldn't fly home for months because he had to stay in the hospital. Like, he broke his orbital, he broke, like, tons of shit in his face. Like, it was terrible. Like, and then afterwards, he was like, fuck it, I want the brother. Like, it's just like, like, just game as fuck, dude. Like, I love Shannon, dude.
Chased him, bro. Chased him to the end of time, bro. Didn't get it, but chased his ass.
I know. But anyways, man, I think, this is the last bit of news. I feel like I had to throw it in because it is UFC, related news because we've talked about both these guys in different aspects. Vince McMahon, no longer in charge of WWE, no longer part of the TKO Group. He officially resigned after details of a lawsuit relating to, rape and, sexual assault, sex trafficking.
He just got us demonetized. Fuck.
We were already demonetized. No, we were already never monetized to begin with. It's alright. So yeah, Vince McMahon, man. I don't know if you've read any of this lawsuit. I read the full 60 pages, you know, because I'm a little bit of a legal nerd. I wish I didn't.
Is it a lot of allegations? Like he said, she said?
It's not, unfortunately. It's like they have text messages of him saying, I'm actually not gonna say that on there because it could get like clipped.
It could get flagged.
I'm not gonna. But this was one of the texts, just to give you a frame of reference. Like he threatened to.
You're writing it so I can get my live reaction to it, or are you gonna like describe it?
This was
okay.
I remember this one from memory. This is one of the texts he sent.
Oh shit! So people are gonna hear my live. Oh fuck! Wait, that blatant?
That blatant.
Holy shit!
And the full 60 pages. If people want to read it, they're available. The whole court document.
That's crazy, by the way. People who don't know, Josh just he might have to delete that, dude. The government might.
Brother, it's already happening. I'm removing it. Anyways,
dude, that is wild. I gave people my live reaction to it. That is crazy.
So he's no longer a part of the TKO Group. He had a role higher than Dana White did, I believe. He was like executive vice president or something.
But by the way, I do have one question. Who was that sent to? Do we know that as well?
So the woman, her name, I guess it's public now. Janelle Grant. She was a WWE like an executive who she got hired in like 2020 after like the death of her parents, and she met Vince like through like a friend of a friend, like at like the apartment she lived at. And like it started off like he was like just working with her and eventually crossed some boundaries, and eventually it turned on to like, hey, you need to sleep with me to keep your job. And then, just like a lot of grief. Apparently he there was with John Laurinaitis, who was also a former WWE executive. Apparently he also allegedly was involved in this situation in a gang type grape situation. And also it's basically the worst shit you'll read. I mean, I knew that Vince McMahon was up to some really bad shit, but apparently during I guess he literally shit on this woman's head during yeah, I mean, rich white dudes get up to the weirdest fucking shit because they feel like empowered. They feel like nobody can touch them. To be fair,
was Vince at the island, dude?
Dude, I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, it was some of the most fucked up shit I've ever read. And here's the thing: it's only gonna get worse because, dude, you might have
to pass the link, dude. I might have to read this on my own.
I'll send you the link after the pod. But yeah, I mean, it's terrible. And the thing is apparently like you don't. He's had other allegations of like more. I mean, there's no good. Like it's never good, but of less severe allegations.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is the peak of bad.
Yes, this is he shit on a woman's head during while him and a friend apparently like, you know what I mean? Like raped this woman. I'm trying to stay monetized. That was my bad for earlier. But apparently, like that's literally the levels of.
Oh, jokes aside, I think you do have to censor it a little bit because if not, they'll actually like hide her video.
They will, I know. So I'm trying to be really careful with the way I phrase everything, and also because this all is still technically alleged. I say technically because they have a lot of text messages, like a bunch of them from Vince that like corroborate her story. So it's like, yeah, it's terrible. It was really bad. And here's
are they screen caps or are they just transcript?
Screen caps.
Oh fuck.
Yeah. iPhone text messages.
They subpoenaed his ass.
They did, and they're going to trial. And apparently, I would actually be surprised if this ends in a settlement, because from what the victim has said, she said that she's doing this so that way it goes to what other people have said that they think she's doing this so that way it goes to discovery, and they can get more of more victims to come forward by discovering more of Vince's like personal information and some of his more text messages that haven't been released. You know what I mean?
So she's looking out for other people who've been affected, essentially.
Correct. And the thing is that some people are coming after her. I don't know why. I mean, you have to be bottom of the barrel type human. You know what I mean? Because like, here's the thing, which by the way, the craziest part of the story to me. So Vince, after all this stuff happened, he said like, I'll pay you $3 million to fuck off. And she did. She signed an NDA. And then Vince paid her $1 million and refused to pay her again. And it's like, he thought he was so powerful that he could just do that. You know what I mean? Even the most fucked up thing is, Angel, the reason why he got kicked out of WWE in 2021 and he later came back was the chair, like the board, discovered that he had made $15 million in NDA payments. This girl only got $1 million. Imagine the shit that had to have gone on for the other people for him to spend $14 million. That's just, and he's a billionaire. And he was skimping on $2 million and now his fucking career's over. It's just crazy. But, yeah, man. I mean, oh, wait a minute. I didn't even mention another relevant part of this. This is the part that's going very underreported, mainly because this is not confirmed and he was not named in the lawsuit. That being said, if you use context clues and you just follow the timeline, it's very obvious. So Brock Lesnar, allegedly, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say a former UFC heavyweight champion who was at the time in negotiations to re-sign a deal with the WWE, was named in the lawsuit because apparently Vince tried to get this woman to traffic this woman to this former UFC heavyweight champion, and the only reason it didn't happen was because of COVID, or else he would have also have raped this woman along with Vince and a couple of other his friends. So, and that name has been figured out to be by many to be Brock Lesnar. So,
let's say JDS.
Cain Velasquez? Dude, math-wise, it can literally, I don't even know if they said champion or fighter. So math-wise, it had to have been Brock Lesnar, Matt Riddle, or Cain Velasquez. So, or, I mean, fuck, unless Dane Severn or Ken Shamrock was coming back. You know, like, math-wise, there's only a couple of different people it could be, so.
They had him slated for a return.
Yeah, it's a fucking terrible situation. But that's. I mean, I don't got anything else to add, man.
Bobby Lashley?
I didn't think he never fought in the UFC. It couldn't have been him. But yeah, that's all I got, man. Any closing thoughts, man? I guess on anything in the combat sports world.
That is wild, dude. Like, I didn't know all the details. I mean, I had an idea, but I didn't I didn't look into it too much. Just because I was like, I'll see how things play out. I'm sure the truth will come out.
Yeah.
But I was shocked. It was that blatant. Like I said, I need to see this. I need to see these screen caps now. Mm-hmm. On top of that, I do want to end it on a slightly lighter note. Did you see that the BKFC guy was meeting up with Dana?
I did see that. Yeah.
Rob Feldman?
Yeah, I did see that.
Do we know anything about that? Do you know what's going on there?
I don't know anything, but I do wonder if it's related to a Mike Perry return.
That's what I was thinking too.
Mike Perry teased that he was going to be on UFC 300, and everybody was like, "Oh, okay, we just talked shit." And then I saw that, and I'm like, "Oh."
Well, he called Hunter, right? We're live on the podcast, right? Or one of the matchmakers, and he was talking to him, and then the podcast cut out, or they cut it there. Because he said, well, let me bring something, or something along the lines of, let me tell you this, right? Or X, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And so I wonder, I mean, shit, could you imagine if, because in reality, there's no downside for the UFC to bring back Mike Perry for one, right? The only ones who would, if Mike loses, it only looks sort of bad on BKFC, right? Mm-hmm. Sorta. And really then it's like, Mike would still have his undefeated record and bare knuckle, you know?
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I hope that's what is happening. I don't know for sure that's what's happening. In fact, I think the more likely thing is that the UFC might be making a deal to have, like, BKFC or some sort of BKFC events on Fight Pass or something.
Oh, that's true too. Dude, what do you mean, dude? Eddie Alvarez and Mike Perry in the UFC, dude. MMA, the rematch.
Oh, God, I wish.
Then then that way they get Eddie back so he can fight Michael Chandler or Connor. 300 IQ play.
You know what? I'd actually love that.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I fucking got this shit figured out, dude. I gave him fucking Alexander Hernandez, dude. I gave him this. Like, the UFC just needs to fucking hire me, dude. Like, they need to quit being pussies and just hit my line.
Yeah, for real, dude. For real. What the fuck? The fuck, Dana?
Yeah, dude. The WWE might have to hire me too now that they're about to lose Vince. Potentially.
No, Vince has already resigned. He's already gone.
Oh, he's gone. Oh, well, there you go.
He's gone.
Triple H, I'm available.
Triple H, Hunter, we're ready.
I'm ready.
But
send location, send the contract. I'll sign it.
Anyways, man. Yeah, I would love to see how that ends up, man. Don't have any details though as of now. And I also saw that he met with Eddie Hearn on the same day. So
yeah, that was another one.
But they have been friendly for a while, so I don't know if that's related to anything.
And like you said, Fight Pass. So,
yeah,
makes sense.
Anyways, man, that's all I got. Any closing thoughts, man? Anything else you want to say before we head out?
Man, by the way, we're gonna go into 11 straight weeks of MMA, so I am very happy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big thing. 2024 starting off with a bang. Don't take that out of context. But I mean, there's just a lot of great fucking fights coming up, man. I know these next two cards, like this card and the next card, are all right. There's some importance to them. Don't get me wrong. But I think it's gonna start heating up here real soon with the Mexico card, with the pay-per-view, UFC 299 not that far away, Francis, and we got dude, I didn't even know this until recently, but Teofimo was fighting like in a week or two.
Yep. Yeah.
So
Super excited for that.
just to give you an idea, Super Bowl is upon us soon. We gotta wait. What is it? 1 more week? 2 more weeks?
We got 1 more week. It's gonna be the 11th.
So 10 days.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go check.
Yep, 10 days, man. We're so close to another parade. Fucking getting too cocky about it.
Josh is like, pull out. By the way, did you see the jersey stat?
No, what's the jersey stat?
It was like on ESPN. It's like the Chiefs will not be wearing white; they'll be wearing red. And I forgot what the record is for people in white jerseys in the. I don't know if it's in the Super Bowl or the playoffs, but it's like 16-3 or some shit like that.
Mm-hmm. Damn, that.
The 49ers will be wearing white.
Damn, it's over.
Yeah, just like that, Josh.
It's over. Hey, it's over. It's over.
By the way,
it's over.
We know how we always fucking meme about ESPN stats. Like, dude, where the fuck did these assholes pull that one from? Like, I'm just you know what I mean, though? Like, yeah, here, I found it. Win-loss record of teams wearing white in the Super Bowl since 2004, 16-3. The Chiefs will wear red, 49ers in white for the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm. Dude, there we go.
Well, we're here to break records, dude, you know? And clearly stats don't apply to us, so.
Yeah, man.
Also, they're wearing fucking red, dude. The Chiefs wear fucking red. You know, that's
damn
the fucking
right
color.
Damn right.
Who gives a fuck?
I mean, we're definitely being a little bit too cocky right now, but look, dude, I mean, the amount of shit that as a Chiefs fan I had to look at over this year, you know, about how we're washed.
Over the years, dude. Not even now. Over the years, dude. Let them know, Josh. Talk your shit.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. It's hilarious, because not only did I have to see all this fucking shit this year, but not only did I have to see all this shit, now that we're winning games, oh, it's because of the referees. Or, oh, it's because the NFL is scripted. It's like, dude, fuck off, you know? Like, come on. Get out of here, bro.
Let them know, bro. Let them know.
Like, you guys are talking about how Lamar Jackson was going to save the NFL, and now that he lost, it's scripted? No, brother, he just threw into triple coverage with the game on the line. Like, what do you mean? Like,
dude, you got stunned again, dude.
He did. I mean, I like Lamar a lot, but, dude, I've never seen anybody fold in the playoffs harder. I mean, he was out there. He looked like he was seeing ghosts, dude.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
He might have been.
But, yeah, that's all I got. Look, I'm at Josh Evanoff on Twitter. He's at Angel Ortega _01 at Courtside Sound for all things related to the show. Hope you guys enjoyed the pod this week. So, yeah, go ahead and feel free to give us a like, subscribe, peace, and button grease. Mouse click.